Throughout the Gilded Age, many people who farmed for a living moved into various cities. Due to the new technology farmers had, they were able to produce more crops with less resources. While this was helpful to the vast majority of the American population, the increase in the food meant that the farmers' crops were worth less. This correlation between food and less money left many pioneers and farmers with no option but to head out east to the big cities filled with skyscrapers and buildings that are still present even today. There were different outcomes of urbanization, some positive and some negative. The positives included new technologies as well as cultural benefits. Skyscrapers were first built during this time period. Louis Sullivan was among the first people to plan and construct these giants in the sky. He used steel to make these frames for these buildings based off the idea of form follows function. To get to the top of these skyscrapers, new inventions had to be made. In 1853, Elijah Otis invented the elevator to make the trip to the top that much easier. Street lights as well as sewage systems were created during this time to help improve city life. Urbanization also helped create other benefits such as the creation of museums, theaters, parks, and libraries. Where there was a growing population, there also had to be a growing amount of activities to do and better education. However, there were also many negative effects of urbanization. For example, due to the overpopulation that urbanization brought, new houses had to be made to accustom all of the people. An example of the new housing were tenements. Tenements were small, one-bedroom, one-bathroom places which an entire family would live in. These compact living spaces often had no windows, and it became difficult to live in one of these. Another housing issue that arose was the use of slums. Slums were almost similar to ghettos. There were large groups of people crowded into one street or district. People who had no money often lived in these corridors. Due to these closed living spaces, disease spread like wildfire. Airborne and waterborne disease such as tuberculosis and cholera were on an all-time high in cities. Before minimum wage and child labor laws were set, there would be thousands of people who would work in a single factory. This led to the formation of unions and other organizations, whose goals were to improve working conditions for the poor. Due to the urbanization, politicians were able to work the population to favor one side or another. Political machines were formed in areas highly concentrated with people. These machines were defined as a party headed by a boss that supplies enough votes to maintain political control of a county, city, or even state. The most infamous political machine was the Tammany Hall. Tammany Hall was a Democratic organization located in New York City. Tammany Hall used graft, which is bribery rigging elections, in favor of the Democratic Party. Urbanization also caused new philosophies to form, such as social Darwinism and Puritan work ethic. Social Darwinism was the idea that people who were high in society were supposed to be there because they worked to get there, and those at the bottom were there because they deserved to be there. This was often seen as positive by people at the top. Puritan work ethic was a philosophy founded by Max Weber. It was a Calvinistic belief that a person's job was a sign or result of personal salvation.